Sports Podcast. I said, welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast with Andy Ruther and Joe Prano. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast.
Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from
Fort Collins, Colorado.
Fort Collins, Colorado. That's my guy, Joey No Chill Prano.
That's right. I'm in Fort Collins, Colorado for one more day. We'll leave tomorrow for Steamboat Springs, doing 2 nights of shows in Steamboat Springs. Tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday. Schmiggities in Steamboat Springs, the Steamboat Comedy Show. So come check that out. Tonight, I will be doing the Don't Tell Comedy Show in Denver. So if you're listening to this and you want to come see me in Denver before I leave town, don'ttellcomedy.com. You'll have to sign up for tonight's show. And if you're listening to this and you want to do that, you better do it soon. Also, Andy, while I'm doing plugs, can I get a plug in for us?
Sure.
A link has been posted on the Comedy House New Orleans website for our live podcast and stand-up shows. The link might change, but in the meantime, no matter when you're listening to this, you can go to the Comedy House New Orleans website and you can click on the link for the podcast, the 1000th live podcast. And if you go in there, you can buy tickets to see us do a live podcast, the 1000th episode, hitting 4 digits. Also in there, if you scroll down, there is a podcast and show combo package. Tickets to each are going to be $20. Tickets to each will be $25 at the door. But in advance, for a limited time only, you can go 2 for 1. You can go to the live podcast and one of our stand-up shows for $30 total. So go in there. This is going to be something that we do only for the next couple months. We're about 4 months out to the Dirty Sports 1000th episode in New Orleans. But I would say from now until about October, we're going to do 2 for 1. So if you're going to come, get your tickets early. I know it's only a $10 difference, but also might be some things that we're giving away or doing or special for folks who buy the 2 for 1. So go in there. There's a link to the podcast. Buy the 2 for 1. That'll tell us you're coming. It'll help us to plan. I've already been looking. Andy, there's big blocks of seats in the upper portion of Caesars Superdome. So the earlier people get tickets, the more people we know are coming. There's a Reddit thread where I've done a sort of roll call. Add your name in there. It's going to make planning a lot easier. If you're coming, I'd like to sit at the game with you. I'd like you to be at the tailgate. I'd like you to, be on maybe a big DM thread or something like that, so we can all do this together. So get in there and get your tickets now. Go on Reddit and give us your name. Okay, that's it. That's my plugs, Andy.
So that links up. I currently have it on the screen. It's comedy.house/tickets. So I can't get a specific link. I just checked, but just scroll down.
Yeah. We're the last date that they've got on their calendar.
You guys can figure it out. Fingers crossed.
They won't all be able to figure it out, but
I bought my flight this morning.
Let's go.
So it got
in Friday?
I am.
And when will you leave? Sunday night or Monday morning?
Early Sunday morning.
Early Sunday morning.
I'm sorry, Monday morning.
Okay. I was like, Andy, you're missing the game.
Like 5.
Whoa.
Like 5:30.
Bye forever.
Well, because I have to be back for my because she works Mondays till 9. Right. So I looked at flights and I was like, either early or I wouldn't be back.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think I get in around like 9 Friday.
Great.
So, yeah, that'll be a fun
9 p.m. Friday night.
Yeah.
Love it.
So Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
I'll have been there a week by then.
You will have an apartment leased.
Yeah, exactly. You can crash in my apartment.
I think people are lukewarm on Airbnb these days, by the way.
Don't even get me started on Airbnb. And
like, a lot of people complaining, saying, and I'm seeing, I don't know, I'm seeing people being like, dude, I think hotels are kind of back in as the thing.
Are you saying that in regards to this in general, or in regards to people like online in general?
I've just seen a lot of things online, whether they have merit or not, complaining about Airbnb, and I've seen numerous articles being like, yeah,
so
hotels are the thing.
I have a theory about this, actually. I have a theory that this is the big hotel machine propaganda campaign. Like, all of a sudden I noticed on TikTok and on Reels, people be like, hey, yeah, I don't want to do your laundry before I leave town. I think I'm going to go back to hotels. And what I find interesting is, like, there's a whole big thing that was going on. I mean, Airbnb has definitely changed, but I think it's changed because of all this stuff, which is, you know, the real complaint and the honest and I think truthful, like, the real issue with Airbnb is you can't do 2 days in an Airbnb anymore because they charge you a cleaning fee. That's like, okay, if we were spending there, if I was spending a week there, then it's $20 a day. But instead, you're just charging me like a full other day to clean your apartment. So I get that. But I really feel like the hotel industry was like, hey, what if we pay like influencers to just start complaining on social media about Airbnb? Yeah, like, I'm not trying to do your dishes before I leave. Oh yeah, I'm not trying to make my own bed. It's like, have you guys been to a hotel lately? When's the last time you went to a hotel and they like changed your sheets every day or like gave you new towels every day? When's the last time you were at a hotel that had room service as an option, where you were like, I'd like to order room service, and they're like, yeah, we do that. Go to a hotel sometime and try calling the front desk. This is a fun game to play. Just try calling the front desk. You know, when you go to a hotel and they have that like button and it's like housekeeping, room service, front, like, try hitting any of those buttons. Try finding a button that works, that you get a human being on the phone. Big Hotel was like, we're getting crushed by Airbnb. We need a propaganda campaign. And then suddenly all these white girls were like, yeah, I don't want to do your laundry before I live. I'm going back to hotels.
I definitely, that's the not all come back. I definitely saw a few things on TikTok. That's why I was like, people complaining, which could definitely happen.
I think the
like them being paid.
Yes, I 100% think it. And then also anytime like these things happen, people like jump on a trend. But I mean, listen, there's a lot of things to criticize Airbnb about. Mostly I think the cleaning fee. But I also think like real estate people, landlords, whatever, were like, why would we sell, like, you know, we have all these houses and now we can't like rent apartments because,
we're struggling with you this morning, Prano.
Well, am I cutting out?
Yeah, you're kind of going. Yeah, you've been cutting in and out the last 30 seconds.
Let me, why don't you take over and I'll off and on my thing here.
Yeah, do your thing. So yeah, I've seen a lot about that stuff, like Prano was saying, and he's right. Like the cleaning fee has gotten ridiculous, but this all goes back to my point. You're talking about like, well, you can't find anybody at the front desk, which wouldn't surprise me. Where I know I said this like in the last few years, but like, where did everybody go? Like, because there's just no workers. Like, the bar has been set so low in general. The other day I was doing self-checkout at Kroger, and my thing just, you know, like it does. It just suddenly said, see attendant, because it was claiming I didn't bag something. And the girl was sitting there right by the self-checkout on her phone. Just sitting there. To the point I just go, excuse me? Like, kind of like a dick. And she literally just walks over, hits the thing, And I was a dick back. I go, don't work too hard. And she just, it was like a South Park episode. She's like, like a character. And I'm just thinking, like, is it that bad now? And the answer is yes. Like, they can't even find, dude, you're on your phone. You're some like 19-year-old.
I think to defend,
get off your phone.
Yeah, to defend those people too, like the pay is probably absolute horseshit. And
I'm sure it is, but your one job is just to make sure, like, it's not difficult when those things happen, right? And the glitches happen with the computers. You just override it.
I think we definitely have a labor issue, and there's so many layers to that in terms of the way these corporations refuse to waste money on people. They'll waste money on everything but people. Like the American worker is getting screwed each and every way. But there's also, I mean, pre-COVID, you look at hotels like, hi, yeah, we're gonna shame you with some environmental thing. If you check right here, it just means we're never gonna give you a towel for your entire week stay, but you will save a panda, and we will give you 11 Radisson hotel points. And you're like, where do I claim those? They're like, oh, you're gonna stockpile those. You're gonna be able to stay at Radisson's for free one day because you don't take your towels. And you're like, can I just have fresh towels? They're like, oh, so you hate the environment? No, your towels are gross, and I just want fresh ones every day. Okay, fine. Like they try to scam you into, oh, our cafe closes at 11 a.m. What time is it open? 10:45 a.m. Oh, okay, cool.
So last week
we have serve yourself breakfast from 5:15 a.m. to 5:30 a.m. If you get up, there's a short window where 1,100 people will be making fresh waffles. But after that, the whole thing gets shut down and turns into an old West ghost town.
So last week I was out in the sticks, like 40 minutes away from where I live. And it's funny you talk about everything closing. I saw a Jack in the Box, and like, I guess maybe that's definitely new. Like, we never had Jack in the Box was always like a West Coast thing, and I think they've branched out. But my eyes lit off when I got the exit for what I was doing, and I was like, okay, later. You know me. That was always like a go-to
Jack in the Box visit.
What's up?
The pre-planned Jack in the Box visit is, that's premeditated murder right there.
Well, like, I planted a seed, and I did. I go, I haven't had Jack in the Box since I lived in California. And I was like, you know what? That's going to sound good later. And sure enough, a few hours later, I'm like, I could use some dinner. It's about 8 o'clock. Pull up to the Jack in the Box. Like, it's like a brand new one too, one that's just been built, because it's one of those areas where you're like, oh, let's live out here where it's cheap, because you're in the middle of bumfuck, right? And I'm like, okay, new Jack in the Box is gonna be good. No one's there.
Okay, new Jack in the Box.
And
this is gonna be good.
Yeah, and I'm going like the old school Andy, the stuff I started doing in college.
Like the problem with Jack in the Box is like the facilities weren't new enough.
Dude, exactly. I was thinking like old school, which then I continued in California and Las Vegas, wherever I lived. I was like, okay, I'm gonna go with a couple of the value meal burgers, chicken sandies, some of the 99-cent tacos, which for the record, guys, are not 99 cents anymore. No surprise there. I think they're like $1.39. Anyway, I'm sitting in line and I'm like, wait a second. There's no one around. And it's 8 o'clock. And I'm like, there's no one around. And I'm like, no, don't you. I drive all the way around the front. Dude, they close at 7 o'clock on weekdays.
Wow.
And I'm like, Jack in the Box is known to be a 24-hour or a late night place.
I mean, I used to do a joke like that, but that's essentially like that right there. That's a serial killer fly trap, basically. Can you imagine pulling into a Jack in the Box at 6:45 p.m. and being like, I'm just here for a regular old dinner. They're like, get out of the car, sir. Where are the bodies? Are you drunk? He's like, no, I'm just trying to get dinner. Get out of the car. We've had a rash of murders in this town, and you're it. We know it. You just came here for dinner.
I was so bummed, man. I just sat from McDonald's across the street. I was so bummed. I literally drove home, and I felt defeated, which was weird because, again, Jack in the Box is nothing special. It was just the nostalgia of I haven't had it since California. That's all I wanted.
You know who's the most upset that Jack in the Box closes early? Is the Lakers fans who spent $2,000 on their tickets and then hitchhiked across the whole country just to show up at a Jack in the Box and be like, I can't get 2 free tacos. So one of them, the most LA things ever is Lakers fans who can't get into crypto.com arena for under $600 a ticket. And they'd rather the 2 free Jack in the Box tacos than they would a Lakers championship.
I know. So true.
And I'm like, if they weren't free, they'd be 99 cents. You're like, fuck, I need it.
People are dumb. People lose their mind over free shit, man.
Yeah.
That's like the most brilliant marketing technique is just you win something or rewards points, because I fall for it all the time. Every single restaurant has that now, you know?
Yeah.
Every single restaurant has their own. And I'm like, wait a second. So if I spend $1,000 at Jersey Mike's, I get a free sandwich once every 7 years. Okay.
I mean, and what's so funny is I love it when I love like the people who think they're like dialed into the Matrix, who'll be like, oh, cool. You're going on Instagram and you're using a face filter. You know that they're using that so they could steal your soul, right? But then everybody will be like, join the Jack in the Box fucking free sandwich in the month club, and all I have to do is give you an ounce of blood and my phone password. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's all data mining. That's like the only thing Jack in the Box or fucking Jersey Mike's, they just want your phone number. They're like, we can't wait to sell this to somebody.
100%. That's why they all ask for it.
Yeah. Just give us your phone number. I'd rather not. Oh, geez. Guess you don't want a free sandwich 16 years from now.
Speaking of data mining, I was on some group text exchange, and this thing came in. It came in like Chinese characters, or it looked like Chinese. I don't know. And there's like 20 people on it.
On a group text.
To me, and the only number I recognized was Yoshi. And dude, you're gonna love this,
bro. Yoshi replied.
What's up?
Yoshi replied.
Of course he did. But get this.
What is wrong with him?
But get this. There was a link to something. And he literally wrote something like, because I deleted everything. Yoshi wrote like, I'll check it out. Like, thanks for sharing. So maybe it was, none of it made sense. Or I don't even like, I guess I didn't look close enough. Did Yoshi start this? Is he? But you're right. Only Yoshi.
Yeah. Whenever I get texts like that, I literally delete first I go and I block everybody and then delete the thing. I don't even want an accident.
I should text him about that. I texted him last week.
You should text him about that if you want somebody to be going through your phone, because Yoshi's clearly compromised at this point.
100%. I do recommend for any dirtballs, if you want to hear like really inside the mind of Yoshi and why he visits all these serial killers and terrorists and the Epstein Island tours, all the shit he does, they really go into it on Your Mom's House that he was on last week. Dude, it's fascinating. Like, scroll 25 minutes into the Yoshi interview, which is like an hour plus. Dude, his mind. I'm listening and I'm just like fascinated. Like, it goes through the whole backstory. Apparently his dad was into serial killers. I didn't know any of this. And then like he got into serial killers, and I mean, you and I have joked about it on this show, and we've joked with him on this show, but I didn't realize the level of around the entire world. places he's visited just to be like, oh, Ted Bundy took a shit at this truck stop in 1982. Like, Yoshi is now creating theories. They're actually kind of logical about like why people are the way they are and their backstory. And he does all. And in the episode, it's funny because he's like, I'm not a psychologist. They're like, I'm not a doctor, but this is my theory.
Yeah, we know you're not a doctor, Yoshi. You're literally a lab rat. He's like, but I have been around a lot of doctors.
Well, let's hop into some things. We had a lot going on, I feel, in the NFL world because it's coming up. But before we jump into the current news, I want to bring an update to the whole Michael Oher situation. I am fascinated myself by this because there's so much back and forth since we discussed the lawsuit on Monday. Now the Tui family, of course, has responded, but there's just so much from each side. And also everyone on social seems to be siding so hard one way or the other, where I'm like, to me now as more comes out, this could be maybe a little more blurred. Right. But as we get into this, I have a few thoughts, but I don't know if you've read any more. I'm glad that ESPN did a straight up frequently asked questions, sorting out the biggest claims. And they literally just break it down, which makes it easy to read, right? So as we know, right, Prano, he filed a petition Monday in Tennessee, basically saying he didn't get any money, the whole conservatorship, all the other bullshit that came with it. He was lied to, blah, 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 blah. So, of course, the Tuies have responded. But, dude, the responses are, in my opinion, from them are pretty shady. So, Sean Tunney the dad did an interview, right, Prano, on Monday, trying to defend what they did. And this is what he said. Michael was living with us for a long time, and the NCAA didn't like that because he was a former Ole Miss basketball player, so he could be classified as a booster. And according to him, the NCAA said the only way Michael could go to Ole Miss was if he was actually part of the family. Basically saying, right, you can't go to Ole Miss because I'm a former player and I'm involved, and it'll look like I'm recruiting you, which, okay, well, like the NCAA, like they care, like that's a whole thing to me.
Right.
And he said, I sat him down and said, if you're planning to go to Ole Miss or if you consider it, we think you have to be part of the family and we have to do this legally. So, of course, the NCAA doesn't respond to this. So, like, to me, that's a red flag off this, like, to start, in my opinion.
Yeah, 100%. Like, like, listen, if you watch the movie and the whole thing, and obviously there's what's in there is fact, partially fact, a lot of fiction, I'm sure. It's like, okay, them pushing him to go to like Ole Miss, like they essentially are fucking being boosters. You know what I mean? Like there's some part of this where it's like, did they pay for some kid to live in their house so that he would go to his alma mater and be a fucking first round draft pick protecting some Ole Miss quarterback's blindside? Like what the accusations of him like maybe wrongdoing, it's like, isn't that essentially what happened? But then the idea of, well, why didn't you guys just like adopt him out of the gate? Why didn't you explain, like, the idea that, oh, we explained to him the conservatorship, but we didn't. It's like, dude, they're adopting somebody and having a soon to be high draft pick in the NFL draft under conservatorship is things.
You cut out right there. It's what? Oh, he lost it. So this is an interesting tidbit too. I'm just going to read some things that I read in this article that I think really need to be known by the public because a lot of people don't discuss these things. So in their own book that the Tuohys wrote, their own book, which was published in 2010, they never used the word conservatorship in 271 pages. This is their own book,
Right.
but it includes a form of the word adoption more than 30 times. And I think when it comes to these things and the facts, this is so important. They can call it conservatorship all they want. They never use that in their own fucking book. On page 169 of the book, they say, so the idea of adopting Michael came to us quite naturally. One evening, we were told him that we wanted to formally become his guardians. He wasn't. So we can hear you, Joe. You there?
I lost Mike.
Okay, you lost your mic. Okay. Anyway, so it says, I'll just mute you until, if I can do that, until you get that situated. So anyway, so the idea of adopting Michael came to us naturally. One evening, we told him that we wanted to formally become his guardians. It wasn't an executive family session or anything. We were all just lounging around the dinner table. So again, this is from their book.
Yeah.
Like, this is what's crazy to me. Also, what the book turns into a movie, not that book. Their friend, Michael Lewis, writes The Blind Side, Evolution of a Game book, which first chronicled the story. It never used the word conservatorship once, but always refers to him as legal guardians.
Right.
So like, guys, context is key here. And everyone said, how did he just learn? Maybe he didn't. Or the argument, it's because he's broke, which I fucking hate, by the way. It doesn't matter whether he's broke or not.
But like, also, I go again to, like, we talked about this last episode. Like, who are you people that are defending? Like, Andy just like laid it out for you. Like, they said adoption 200 and whatever times. They never say, like,
there's adoption 30 times. They just never said conservatorship.
Yeah. They just lied. And it's like,
do you want to hear another lie?
Yeah.
They said, Sean Tuohy, this is just Monday, said, we contacted lawyers who told us we couldn't adopt him over the age of 18. And the only thing we could do is a conservatorship. ESPN straight up debunks that. They say, you are in the state of Tennessee allowed to adopt someone past 18 as long as the birth parents were notified and agreed to the process. So once again, that's just a lie.
Right. But, like, this is the world we live in today. When one side is so clearly wrong and the other side is so clear, so like, hey, I feel like I was really taken advantage of, and there's really no blurred lines here. People are always going to come in like in a world where people just like can't accept that. And, of course, one of the Tuohys first thing Monday morning on Barstool, like, hey, you want to chum it up? Hey, we've got a smoke show of the day here and a guest smoke show raider. Which of these 17-year-old high school girls would you guys like to have in your conservatorship? Yeah.
Well,
if you had to pick between these Alabama sorority girls for your family not to adopt, but to steal all future earnings from, who would you want living in your house? And he's like, yeah, how about sexy Sandy?
Yeah, I listened to part of that terrible interview.
If you could only take one bite of the future earnings from these projected top draft picks, which projected top draft pick are you going to take one bite out of? Fucking assholes.
Well, you know what's funny? What their son said when he went on Barstool? He's saying they didn't make that much money. He said, I've only made like 60 to 70 grand over the course of the last 4 or 5 years. This is always my, why is no one just saying what I'm about to say? Dude, why do you deserve anything?
Yeah. You only made 60 or 70 grand doing what?
Doing what? You're literally the son of parents who started a conservatorship for someone who played in the NFL. What
He's
the
like, hey
fuck
man,
did you do?
hey man, hold on a second. Take a step back, Andy Ruther. So the way it is down here, 60, 70 grand to let a black man live in your house, kind of a steal, if you asking me. A lot of us demand a way more than that for him to just be. So he's just there at breakfast. 70 grand seems like a good deal.
Let me put it this way, guys, and I'd be curious if anybody would want to debate me on this. If you're doing this for the good of being like a good person, why would you want any money? That's all I'm going to say. Like if you want to take this kid in and you want to help this kid, why should you, your husband, or either your twat kids get a cent? No, correction. Why would you want a cent?
Right.
Why wouldn't you just say, hey, this poor kid's down on his luck. We're going to take him in. Because that's the right thing to do, which for some reason no one is discussing.
But by the way, forget the right thing to do, because no one, obviously, like that, adopting some kid, which you didn't do, but taking some kid in your home, like that's going above and beyond. Like that's not, you don't have to do that. It doesn't mean you're a bad person if you don't take some kid in your home and raise him. But the thing is like it becomes so if you take this kid into your home and you funnel him to your alma mater and you take a portion of his earnings and you take a portion of book and movie earnings that you made from selling his story, then it's like, oh, so you're just assholes that were trying to better the school that you went to, that you're a booster of. You're trying to like make money off him. Because the thing is, like, I'm not saying you're a bad person if you don't walk the streets and go, hey, anybody want to come live with us?
Sure.
But you are a bad person if you do it, and every step along the way, it benefits you.
100%.
You could argue that it didn't benefit them all along the way if he had just like gone to LSU and they did all this stuff. But every single thing that happened benefited them. A book deal, a movie deal, an Ole Miss deal.
Come on, speaking engagements. The thing is, people on the other side want to say they didn't have to take him in. Yeah, they didn't. And they put their own resources and their own financial means. Yeah, you're right. But they also completely benefited from that. Now, had they said, hey, let's say the mom says, I'm going to write a book. I'm going to be getting these booking fees for personal appearances. Everything I make, or let's say 90% of what I make, is going to go towards a Michael Oher Foundation or something along those lines. That's a different story. But guys, that's not the case. They completely benefited from this.
Listen, I'm not trying to do like, I'm not trying to like, because this isn't my doing by any means. So it's certainly not making me look better. But let me just tell you something about my parents, but specifically my mom. My dad would fucking shake his head and be like, we're doing this again. But over the years, the amount of friends that myself, my brother, my sister were going through tough times, whether it be somebody in their family was sick or somebody in their family was like, the amount of people that just came and like lived in our house for like months at a time. My parents were like, my mom forced my dad's hand to do it. My dad would be like, who is this person that lives? Who are these 3 people that are living with us now? He's like, and I pay for this? And she was like, yeah, you do, because you have it and you're going to. And he'd be like, all right, whatever. And never once, and like didn't tell anybody about it.
Sure.
No speaking engagements. No, like, you have to work for us. You have to like,
yeah.
My mom wasn't like, well, if you're here, you're going to do chores. She wasn't like mow the lawn, let alone you have to go to my alma mater and give me half of your career earnings.
Yeah, we knew a family like that as well. They took in somebody, like a real close family that we used to share holidays with, and they took in, it was like a Michael Orr situation. They took somebody in. Same thing. There was no public, you know what I'm saying? Like, out of the goodness of their heart, hey, somebody, I don't even know how this got connected, but somebody with a really rough upbringing is suddenly living at their house. There's no fanfare about it, right?
Yeah.
I don't know why though. Every single person I see defend, no one's asking again the basic question of why are you earning like that douchebag who went on Barstool? Dude, why should you get 60 to 70 grand? Because mommy took in somebody? The fuck did you do? And it doesn't matter to me, Joe, if he did blow all his money. I don't really care.
And here's the other thing. If you do this on the other side, like if you do this and don't even pretend to like be caring about this kid, like I know somebody who is essentially like a financial advisor for like young athletes. But what his company does is like pays for AAU kids' sneakers and pays for their training and pays for speed clinics and pays for them to have a tutor. And in exchange, gets part of their earnings should they go to the NBA one day. And everybody's like, you're a fucking leech. You're a monster. You're an asshole. You're a piece of shit. You're a scumbag. You're a thief. You're taking advantage of young, poor kids. And what does it matter to you? You throw out a couple, and those people sit there and they go, 29 of the 30 kids we do this to never smell the NBA. So we're doing a good thing. It's like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You're just investing in 30 different properties, and one of them is going to blow up. And those people get called assholes, leeches, scumbags. Dude, that's what this family did. It's an investment. Invested in this kid and then profited off him. They bought Apple stock low, and then they made money off it for years.
And again, I'm sure, I'm not saying, because everybody's saying, well, he's saying he was demanding money and he was threatening to go to the press if they didn't give him a certain amount. Whatever. Like, my response to that is, okay, whatever. I don't really care. At the end of the day, that's what you said is what I care about. Like, guys, it doesn't mean that maybe he's not. Michael Orr might not be doing the smart things maybe right now or how he's handled it at times, but
maybe you guys should have sent him to a better school than Ole Miss.
Yeah. All I'm saying is you can't deny what you just said and say they didn't look at this as some sort of investment, guys. Because even if he doesn't go to the NFL, any sort of profit they use and say, as the feel good story, which then turns into the book, which then turns into the movie. Like, my point is, all along the way, they benefited. How did they not benefit? No one knows who the fuck they are without Michael Orr.
Yeah.
Now, the argument would be, hey, no one knows who he is without them adopting him. Maybe, or I shouldn't even say adopting, without becoming his legal guardians. Maybe. We don't know that.
Yeah, but also he's been like outspoken too the whole time. He was like, I wasn't just some like inept kid who had never put on a football helmet. He was like, I was playing football.
Well, exactly. And if you read his book, if you look at excerpts, he talks about that in the movie. The movie, they make it look like I'd never seen a bed before.
Yeah.
Like,
they make it look like Sandra Bullock taught me how to play tackle.
Well, it'll shake out in the legal process, right? So I'll be following all along.
I just can't wait for the Sun to show up on Ask the Internet, and they'd be like, "Would you rather hands made of crickets, or to share your childhood bedroom with a gigantic black left tackle. Such fucking pieces of shit.
So we talked about this briefly before the show. New Hard Knocks. You have not watched it yet.
I haven't, unfortunately, and not because I'm not interested. Just obviously in Colorado, doing shows, bouncing around. Haven't had some time to just sit around and watch some Hard Knocks. But you tell me, are you 2 episodes in? You're still locked in? You still interested?
Yeah.
It's not the Cowboys. It's not the.
I am. I mean, it's still very pro Aaron Rodgers. It shows him getting a little annoyed though during a scrimmage against the Panthers. It's still very pro Aaron Rodgers. Definitely the worst rookie show I've ever seen. It's so bad that the team themselves said, you guys have to come back and do this again the next week. I don't really fully understand what happened. It was like they made the non-rookies do like a trivia and they were giving away prizes, but they had it on the big screen. Didn't really make sense. Everybody in the team was like, what the fuck is this? Some funny reactions there. I like the team.
This is the fear. This is the fear, man. You can have Aaron Rodgers and you can have a couple new free agent signings to play wide receiver with him, and you can have whatever. You're still the fucking Jets. This is the fear.
Well, that made me think of a question for today's show. Now, we had a call about the episode. I'm going to hold off on the call since you haven't seen it.
Okay. I don't mind. It's
about a speech that Robert Saleh gave.
Okay.
So it'd be give better context if you've seen the speech. But I was thinking watching the episode, let's take the Chiefs out. I want to talk a little AFC. Let's take the Chiefs out. So we're 2 episodes in. If I said to you, Joe, I'm going to give you a $10 bill, you have to spread it around the Bengals, the Bills, and the Jets to come out of the AFC. Again, we're just going to take KC out of it because they're the favorites, right?
Right. Okay, so I can only bet on the Bengals, the Bills, or the Jets.
You have $10. How are you doing that? How are you using that?
Well, let me just say this. I'd probably, like, most of my money would go to the Bengals. If I had $10 to spread on, I'm sort of even on the Jets and the Bills.
Okay.
Like I'm not sure I like I don't like how the Bills are trending, but I still think that they're probably a more complete team than the Jets right now. But it really is all going to really comes down to how well Aaron Rodgers plays. If Aaron Rodgers is just 2 years ago Aaron Rodgers, he's better than the best version of Josh Allen's ever been that we've seen in the league so far. Right? So, like, forget the question mark of like Josh Allen and turnovers or whatever. To me, it's all about, is Aaron Rodgers go back to some semblance of his old self? So the question marks around both teams are going to kind of keep me even. If I had $10 to spread around and I could only put it on those three teams, I'd probably go like $6 on the Bengals and $2 each on the Jets and the Bills.
Interesting. Okay. I'd do a little differently.
Yeah.
I'd probably go $4 Bengals.
And $3?
$4 Jets.
Wow. You see, you're two episodes into Aaron Rodgers Hard Knocks. You're in. This is what I've said. There's no better time than the first couple episodes of Hard Knocks. I wish I could bet against the Jets right now. Not that I don't think the Jets can do it, but this happens every year with Hard Knocks.
It's not just Hard Knocks. I don't know. I got this weird feeling about the Bengals this year, taking a step back.
Well, the Bengals taking a step back doesn't really, like, your question presupposes that we can't bet on the Chiefs, right?
It does.
So, like, there's already like the Bengals losing to a Bills or a Jets team in the playoffs is totally reasonable.
For sure.
It's totally reasonable. I'm just saying, like, with all the when you consider all the things, they've been there the last couple of years. They've got, this is how you build. I mean, they went to a Super Bowl. It's like the Jets and the Bills. I mean, the Jets are the Jets, and the Bills, like, did the Bills peak 2 years ago?
Well, that's what I wonder. But, you talked about Aaron Rodgers 2 years ago. 2 years ago, he wins the MVP. I don't even think I'd almost argue if he's 85% of 2 years ago.
Totally.
Because you have a defense that, again, and he talks about that. I did find interesting, you'll see it in the episode, Saleh directly to his team. The whole team is like, dude, we got a stud defense. Our offense was good enough to win 7 games last year. And he straight up says it. He's like, it's our offense. He straight up is saying it. If we can play how we can play, we're going to be a tough team to beat. But he directly calls out. I don't really remember seeing a coach do that, directly calling out one side of the ball and saying.
It's good. It's what should happen. It's very modern to just be like, listen, everybody's an adult here. Like, why are we going to be like, if everybody does their job and looks to the man next to them, and you go full Doc Rivers, you put his arms in your arms, you link arms, and we form one circle of trust, and no one could break this circle. And you're like, what the fuck are you talking about? Just be like, dude, the defense is good. The offense is shit. Get it together, and we can go to the Super Bowl. But, like, the Jets still have offensive line questions.
I think that's going to be the issue.
The Jets, this Jets signed Dalvin Cook, but, like, what does that mean? Breece Hall is going to, like, you're coming back off of a serious injury. I mean, even if he comes back and plays at some point, like, it's not going to be the same year one. It's like there's a lot of question marks. Also, Aaron Rodgers didn't look good last year.
Yeah. I mean, look, the Dalvin Cook signing, which we talked a lot about running backs and the signings, up to $8.6 million. I mean, the market on running backs has gotten so cold that you have a guy coming off 4 straight good years, and now he's going to be like a dual back. And the same thing for Zeke. I don't know if you saw the actual Zeke deal. The Patriots smartly just loaded it with incentives.
Right. Let me ask you something about the Dalvin Cook situation. When you talk about coming off of 4 good years, and you talk about, like, what the Vikings have built the last few years there, the only explanation is they can't afford him, right? Not that they don't want him.
I'd assume so.
I mean, I love it when Kirk Cousins' contract just continues to ruin lives.
Well, that's another part of that situation. Kirk Cousins now loses his top performing running back. More pressure's on him. And not enough people are talking about that.
Dude, the Vikings are, I mean, you talk about a team that's going to take a step back. The Vikings are going to be a 500 football team.
You think?
Yeah. I think the Vikings will be 9-8 or 8-9. You got fucking, it's just your offense just now is Captain Christ and his security blanket.
Who has more yards from the scrimmage this year? Dalvin Cook or Ezekiel Elliott?
That's an interesting question.
Because it is an interesting question. Because Zeke will get more of the load, I assume, up in New England.
Yeah. I'm tempted to still say Dalvin Cook. I mean, Zeke, it's like Dalvin Cook the whole time. I'm like, Dalvin Cook's good. Zeke, you're like, dude, he has moments where you're just like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. So we got a call about Justin Fields. I'm going to play since we're talking a little NFL.
Oh, here we go. Is it Justin Fields MVP talk?
No, it's the other way.
Okay, cool. Because the Justin Fields MVP talk at this point is like, what the fuck are we talking about? Why
Well,
not?
you'll
Why not
love
Kenny
this call.
Pickett MVP talk? Why like what? We just pick random dudes?
You'll love this call in 310-359-8365. That's our hotline.
Hey, what's up, guys? One thing I really like about this show is that you guys are very, very on point for the most part when it comes to guys who are underrated. And I think you guys do a pretty good job with the quarterbacks. But I think the guy that's become the most overrated, even worse than Kirk Cousins, is by far Justin Fields. And maybe you guys haven't really been paying attention to this, but people have been overrating the fuck out of this guy. Like, he was considered a top 100 player, and people have him as like an MVP candidate. People have him ranked as like a top 10 player. Like, the guy can't fucking pass to save his life. Sure, yeah, he can run the ball, but being a quarterback has nothing to do with running the fucking football. I'm sure Joe Prano wouldn't want Saquon Barkley to be his fucking quarterback. So, yeah. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys have really seen this kind of stuff lately. So, have a good one, boys.
I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, I guess I wasn't as familiar about all this Justin Fields talk.
I don't think that Justin Fields doesn't have MVP potential, but Lamar Jackson won an MVP, and I think we've made it clear on this show how I feel about Lamar Jackson. So, first of all, the idea of everybody's getting their bets in on Justin Fields MVP. It's like, it's the Bears, dude. When's the last time the Bears had a competent offense?
Competent quarterback.
Yeah. Second of all, let's say Justin Fields does win the MVP this year. All you guys who bet on it will feel real justified. That doesn't necessarily mean anything good for the Bears. Like, if Justin Fields wins the MVP, which he won't, it would be some Lamar Jackson type of shit where he ran for 1,500 yards and Lamar Jackson is at the point now where he's a couple years off from the MVP, and we did this whole contract thing, and now he's like, I need receivers and I need whatever. It's like, I don't want a quarterback that needs to run to win.
Yeah.
Justin Fields, more so probably than Lamar Jackson, needs to run to win. Okay? You look at my team. The big fear for me with my team is I think that the Giants can win without Daniel Jones running the ball a lot. But I'm not sure Brian Daboll thinks that. And I don't know more football than Brian Daboll. If you look at the Giants in the playoffs last year, Daniel Jones had to run the ball a lot. I don't want a guy who has to run the ball to win. Justin Fields, I could argue the Bears have to not throw the ball to win.
So a lot has been made about the top 100 list. First of all, these lists are bullshit, guys. I put zero credibility into any of them. I'm sorry. I just do. Like, I don't care who made them, the players, the GMs, executives. Like, they don't mean shit to me. They really don't. Like prime example on this list, Justin Fields is rated way higher than Trevor Lawrence, and that's hilarious to me.
Yeah.
For all the reasons you just said. For all the reasons you just said. Guys, this is 2023. And to be honest, it's mind-blowing now that people still haven't figured out. Your quarterback cannot be your running back.
But also, you got to look around the league. If you look around the league, how many teams do you think that you could name legitimately, how many teams do you think you could name? And maybe just ramble them off the top of your head, where you feel great about their coach and you feel great about their front office. 6 teams?
Ooh, that's tough.
8 teams? Do we feel pretty good about like Seattle and Pittsburgh and
San Francisco,
and the Patriots, Kansas City, Philly, maybe the Giants? Like, how quickly do we run out of teams? Like, do we feel great about the and by the way, I threw the Giants in there. That's like since this regime started. There's certainly not a long-term fucking thing, but like we don't feel that way about the Dolphins. Way too early to tell about the Jets, right? Way too early to tell about. I mean, the Cowboys will never. Like, is it a third of the league? Is it a quarter of the league?
Well, even the Bengals, like you know, their coach.
You feel good about their coach?
I probably feel better. You know, I've been critical, but front office, no, not even close. Not even close. Burrow's not.
And by front office, I mean GM. Like, forget the ownership situation.
That's what
I
mean. Like Burrow's not signed.
Right. But like, so when you say the top 100, this is voted on by the GMs and coaches. Okay, 75% of those guys, 75% of the people voting for these things will be fired within the next 4 seasons. That's just facts.
Justin Fields is.
I'd love to see the percentage of coaches and GMs that are still in their current position from 5 years ago.
It's probably pretty small. My thing with Justin Fields, well, first of all, is he a fun, dynamic player to watch? Yeah. Some of these runs are just absolutely insane. It's just like the Lamar Jackson situation, like you said.
No one's ever argued any of these guys aren't a world-class athletes. Justin Fields takes shits that are more athletic than the entire bloodline of anybody on or listening to this show.
But with that being said, he started 25 games, guys.
Year 3, that's where they turn it around, Andy. Historically, year 3 is where you become an MVP candidate. Look at what happened to Lamar Jackson in year 3. Look what happened to Josh Allen in year 3.
You know, in the 25 games, he's 5-20. I know it's a team sport. He's completed 59.7% of his passes, and he's thrown 4,100 yards in 25 games. He also led the NFL in sacks last year, guys. He also led the NFL in fumbles with 16. I'm just saying, like, these are stats I don't want in the modern NFL, right? That's why I keep saying, like, it's 2023. What are we talking about? I don't want to have the QB who leads the league in sacks and fumbles and also can barely throw 2,000 yards. Sorry, I don't want that. Personally, it doesn't equal playoff wins for me. It doesn't equal regular season wins for him so far. So maybe that'll change. You know, the Lamar Jackson comparison is pretty similar, which makes me want to share a little thing I saw. I sent this to you and Randy Ruther. I was laughing out loud when I read this. The headline says, Ravens offensive coordinator Todd Monken using routes pitched by Lamar Jackson, and simply reading a few paragraphs made me laugh. How now Lamar Jackson is giving plays to his coach, blah, blah, blah. But the funniest part about that is that Lamar Jackson is saying that he's seeing plays he saw on social media. Guys, I couldn't make this up. So your franchise quarterback, and I know people are going to say Ruther just dunks on Lamar. I don't care.
Get in here. Be coming close. Have you guys heard of Spider 2Y banana? Bro, this is fucking crazy.
This is from Lamar Jackson's own mouth last week. I was just on social media and I saw a couple of routes and I sent it to QB coach T. Martin and he was like, I'm going to relay that message to Coach Todd Monken. Jackson said after Tuesday's joint practice. Coach Monken liked the play, so he put it in practice. Guys, your franchise quarterback is seeing plays on TikTok and he's like, yeah, maybe I should run this at the professional level. Sorry, this doesn't make me feel good about Jackson.
He's like, guys, I've been on the internet lately. I have some personnel suggestions too. Have we thought about signing Darren Sharper, one of the most hardest hitting safeties in the league?
It's unbelievable.
I watched this guy on the thing. I think his agent might be Gumby.
So now also for the first time, they're going to give Jackson the ability to audible. Guys, I'm not making this up. So Lamar Jackson, this is his 5th year. Dude, you've been in the league for 4 years. This is your 5th year, and they're just now saying you can audible. Again, Ravens fans, come at me. I'm here for it. That doesn't make me feel good about my quarterback. Do you think Patrick Mahomes or Joe Burrow or Justin Allen weren't audibling by year? Who even knows? Their first year? Their second year?
I'm just going to let everybody dunk on you for saying Justin Allen, but that's fine.
Who did I say?
Justin Allen. But
Joe,
we know what you meant.
You know, Josh Allen.
But I honestly, I do like the combined powers of Justin Herbert and Josh Allen. That would be a fucking legit quarterback.
I know people think I'm just a dick about Lamar because we all know how I feel. I just don't think he's going to win you anything. I don't. But the notion that he's getting plays off TikTok and Twitter.
Dude, listen, like we've talked about it at length. Guys, if you want to follow our TikTok, we're still on TikTok at The Dirty Sports. I put it up yesterday. I put up most overrated player in Knicks history, Carmelo Anthony. That's troll. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How about this? How about name one thing Carmelo Anthony did above average besides score, which he did inefficiently? How about, and then they'd be like, oh, you're, so somebody goes, you just hate black people. I go, what?
That's funny.
And the bottom line is like, it's, Lamar Jackson getting his plays off of social media, getting his plays off of Madden. It's exactly what the fans do too. Dude, I've been using Justin Fields all offseason, and I simmed the year, and he won the MVP, and we won the Super Bowl. And I think that might happen. Bro, it's not a video game. Stop it. You can't turn injuries off.
Well, speaking of that, I just made a bet. Just made a dirtball bet.
Right now?
Right now.
Ugh. Poor dirt balls. What was the bet?
It was in Dirty Sports DMs. Diehard Lions fan Boonstrick wanted to make a Lions bet.
Oh God, it's like people never talk about another guy who they didn't allow to call audibles, and was eventually traded.
Yeah, well, that's
your
funny.
quarterback is
You're
a
right.
guy. Your quarterback is a guy who was on a team with a great coach, not allowed to audible, eventually traded. They immediately won the Super Bowl. Immediately won the Super Bowl. You're dating a girl. You guys live in a fucking row house. You guys are using fucking food stamps. She divorces you, marries another guy, and is suddenly first lady of the United States of America. And you're like, dude, I don't know. Like, I think I might have been the better choice. Are you? You fucking lunatic.
So this isn't a crazy bet, as far as I think from his angle. Because for the record, I don't. This isn't one where I'm like, oh, I feel so confident. I'm 50-50 on this. It's just them winning a playoff game.
Yeah, I think they could win a playoff game.
And so do I. But I said for fun, let's do it. But I'm also motivated.
The NFC is just so down.
Did you see what Dan Orlovsky said after what you just said about Jared Goff?
No.
Because that's funny. You didn't even see that. And that's basically his whole thing. He's like, people are going to say Jared Goff's the question mark? And he goes on some rant. I watched it this morning. He's like, Jared Goff is the question mark of the Lions?
Jared Goff's the question mark of the Lions. What the fuck are we talking about?
And this is where, like, dude, this is where, like, these talking heads, I never put too much into the value of what they say, because he's going on and on about Goff's been to a Super Bowl. It's like, Dan, you also know who was behind that. Sean McVay. And just like you said, they gave him zero play calling ability.
I love that he scored 6 points in the Super Bowl.
3.
Sorry for doubling his point total and still getting it wrong. Dude, it's not that hard. Like, when you watch Goff on both teams, Goff is great at making the easy play.
He is.
Cool story. You might win a playoff game because you draw who knows in the first round of the NFC playoffs. You're not winning a Super Bowl. Lions fans, you're not winning a Super Bowl. Lions fans, listen to me. I know not all of you are watching this, so I'm going to also try to do what I'm doing on camera here with my voice. Lions fans, sit down. Clutch your favorite mug of coffee. Grab your dog tight. You're gonna need some comfort here. You're not winning the Super Bowl. You're not winning the Super Bowl. Lions fans, you're not winning the Super Bowl.
You know what's crazy too about the Lions fan situation? I'm picturing Lions fans. I'm picturing them saying, why aren't we going to go far? The Cincinnati Bengals did it a few years ago. Well, two things. One, no one saw what the Bengals were doing. No one saw that coming, right? Like the Bengals straight up surprised everybody that year, which I think is one of the things you need to do. The expectations for the Lions were so high. And the second part of that, again, is Jared Goff. Like, if you can't win a Super Bowl with the Rams defense and Sean McVay, you're not winning one in Detroit. You're just not. Sorry, guys. You might win a playoff game. You're right. There's a good chance because the NFC's dog shit.
Yeah. The Giants won a playoff game last year. Giants aren't winning the Super Bowl.
So, I don't know. But the notion that Goff isn't the question mark, he is the question mark because they have a nice roster in Detroit.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem with Detroit right now, right? Is you can think anything you want, but like coach, quarterback, defense, that's the big three. Coach, quarterback, defense. I have question marks about 2 of the 3 of those, but really 2.5 of the 3 of those. Like, it's not like their defense was great last year.
No, they had some rough moments.
But you guys did score a lot of points on some really bad teams. So you got that
or games where like the Eagles are beating you by 3 touchdowns and you come back and make it close. A lot of those games too, right? Where it's like you're getting your ass kicked. Sure, you make late pushes in games. Now, look, that division is so winnable for them.
Right. But what's the other team that didn't make the playoffs that is suddenly NFC champion? Like how do we do this? You know who's going to be the NFC champs this year? This team that didn't make the playoffs last year.
Again, I just think it's such slim pickings, right? So you have the Eagles and the Niners, and then
the Eagles and the Niners. What? Both of them decide to play a split squad game and a meteor hits the fucking field, and so now you're the NFC favorites. I love that we're just like dismissing the two clearly best teams. Like, oh, well, I guess technically they could both play in a playoff game. They could draw each other. One could be the 1 seed and the other could be the 3 seed, and Detroit could be the 2 seed. And then Bane could show up in the middle of the game. I'm a Lions fan.
On pride. I could see their meathead coach setting that up, by the way.
Yeah.
Didn't he say?
I could see their meathead coach. Their meathead coach, I could see him having worn a Bane mask to one of their fucking meetings already.
You know what, man? I'm going to mix it up, man. You ever seen that movie with Batman? Man, you know what I'm saying, man?
Batman, man.
That Bane guy, he's onto something, man. Let's blow up this stadium with our Lion pride today, man.
You know what Two-Face had, man? Grit. Like, shut the fuck up.
Well, football season is right around the corner, which means get those Miller Lights ready for the weekend, guys.
Let's fucking go.
Right? We have a month left of summer. It's going to roll right into the fall. So we can just continue Miller Lite drinking season.
Let me tell you something, Andy. Let me give you a personal anecdote about my love of Miller Lite. Miller Coors is one company, you know,
Sure.
But I will never live in Colorado because Colorado definitely leans more to their old school. Like, I know it's a conglomerate now, but they love their Coors here.
Sure.
And listen, as a guy who supports the Miller Coors super brand, that's up to you guys, but it ain't for me. It ain't for me. I'm a Miller Lite guy through and through. Take me back to California where I can get my Miller Lights. But, you know, I feel like I'm mining for gold nuggets here. The way I find a Miller Lite, I'm like, can I get a Miller Lite? Like Coors Light? I was like, listen, I mean, I know the money's all going to the same place, but no, thank you. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for Miller Lite.
Yeah. No, I feel you, man. It's a behemoth around here. Miller Lite, I would probably say, is the most popular beer in Cincinnati. You can find it anywhere. They're the official sponsor of the local team here. And guys, like I said, the games are right around the corner. So let's make those memories around the grill with your family, with your friends. Let's do some Miller time. Make unforgettable summer memories with Miller Lite. Get Miller Lite delivered right to your door. Visit MillerLite.com/dirty sports, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. There will be Miller Lights flowing in New Orleans.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited for it.
We have a call about New Orleans.
Let's go.
A concerned dirtball.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
310-359-8365. That's our hotline. So here's what he has to say.
Hey, Joe and Andy. It's Andy Sandals here in Phoenix, Arizona. Just had some thoughts on your 1000th episode. Honestly, I'm a little worried. I'm a little scared. I think the show has made a couple of enemies that are pretty scary in particular. Jameis 101 seems like a total nut and could do anything at any time. And the reality is, two of his biggest haters will be in the same place, along with their most loyal sympathizers. And if I'm Jameis 101, you know, God forbid, but it sounds like an opportunity, and it's a little scary. So I think what we need to do, in order to do two things, to not only get Yoshi to the show and maybe have a guest spot or something, but also provide some security, some peace of mind for the dirtballs. And what we can do, I think, is rent Yoshi a Tahoe or a Suburban or a G-Wagon or some kind of large vehicle and set him outside the venue, engine running, so that if he sees anyone approaching like Jameis 101, he could just run them over. I think this added layer of security will make dirtballs feel really comfortable and might increase the turnout. So let me know what you think. Stay dirty.
I mean, he brings up a good point. Although I don't think Jameis 101 is flying back from his international home for Remember when Jameis 101 likes to pretend he lives in Cuba?
No, I thought it was more of like New Zealand or something.
I have no idea.
I do think in his head he does have this large family in New Zealand of 8 children.
Yeah.
Like he has
Meanwhile,
a commune.
Meanwhile, it's just him in his Tampa Bay condo, surrounded. Each of the Jameis 101 cards he owns as a child.
I'm not worried about Jameis 101.
No, I'm not either. There's never been a guy who was more afraid of showing his face in public than Jameis 101 in the history of internet trolls.
Seriously. Oh,
He went to a carnival one time and was like, "Can you draw a caricature of Jameis Winston? I can't afford to put a real picture of him on my book, and I certainly can't put my own face on the book." And the guy was like, "Do you want me to draw him with like funny teeth or like you know, what's this Jameis fellow that you want me to draw really into? Is he like horses? Maybe he's riding a horse." And you're like, he's just like, "No, just draw a character of this guy. I need it for the cover of my book. A pencil drawing."
bro. Jameis 101, I just pulled up his Twitter. You know what he's doing now?
No.
He's doing a Derek Carr smear campaign.
Oh, yeah. Of course. He's been
Pro
Derek Carr-
Jameis.
He's been
No,
Derek Carr smear campaigning for like 6 months now.
No, but get this. This is what's funny. He's posting preseason stats from 7-on-7 drills.
Yes. Fuck yes.
So he's posting comparisons side by side.
And it's why the Saints couldn't be on Hard Knocks, because Dennis Allen would never allow cameras to show that Jameis Winston is outplaying Derek Carr. And Dennis Allen is putting his whole livelihood as an NFL coach on the line by starting the guy who isn't better. Imagine living in the delusion where knowing in the NFL how quickly you can lose your job and then never coach again. Like if Dennis Allen gets fired after this year in the Saints, he'll never coach. He'll never be a head coach in the NFL again.
Yeah, I agree.
Ever. And he's going to put that all on the line to start Derek Carr, who he knows isn't better. He knows he has a better quarterback there. But he's like, I'd rather never work again and 3 years from now be fucking monitoring dodgeball games in some high school gymnasium where I'm the PE teacher because I just hate Jameis so much.
Yeah, after he did the same thing last year, right?
Yeah.
He just, Andy Dalton was just so much worse than Jameis Winston, but he continued to start him all year. Here's an interesting question on YouTube. Live episode 1000 in New Orleans. Can you bring
this.
a modern practicing voodoo priestess? A modern practicing voodoo priestess to permanently reverse the Ruther curse.
I actually love this. I think we should do this. I think we should pay for voodoo priestess to try to break the Ruther curse on stage, live. I love it. Also, maybe she's a certified like member of the whatever down there, the clergy, and can marry you.
I think I don't know if I'm gonna be rolling in with somebody else.
Oh, see, we go back to this whole thing. No one's ever met the girlfriend.
Who's gonna watch our child?
He dangles you. Andy loves to dangle. Oh, this is gonna happen. Come to Cincinnati for the Monday night game. You'll finally meet her.
I tossed it out there for New Orleans, but it's more of, hey man, I don't think
Can't you just can't
because her parents still work.
Can't Isla just do overnights at daycare? I mean, she's there most of the day anyway. Can't you send her to daycare camp? Pack her with a little Dora Explorer bag. Be like, we'll pick you up in 4 days. Try not to get the croup.
She'd probably love it. She's like a mob boss at daycare, man.
And then just be like, I know we have a wired baby monitor, but like maybe I could throw an extension cord on this or run it to New Orleans.
I feel you. There we go. Yeah, so I think it's just gonna be just me, guys.
Boo! Boo!
I know.
Is that the crowd saying voodoo? No, that's the crowd booing Andy.
Which leads me to my next call, because the racket of flying, don't even get me started. The next call is about ticket prices and that racket. And at this point, I don't know who has more of a racket when you buy a ticket to a concert or a sports event, or you book a flight and all the upgrades and every little thing they want to charge for. But let's get to this.
Hey, boys. It's Brian Heinrich calling in again, and I am just perplexed with how bad ticket prices have gotten. Like, I'm not talking about, like, the price itself. I'm more so talking about, like, the fees with it. Like, I bought my brother, me and him, Bears tickets for his birthday on Ticketmaster, and on top of the, $108 for each ticket, they charged me a $25 processing fee per ticket. So I ended up paying $50 extra for bullshit, non-existent fees. And, like, I know you guys have touched on this topic before, but my question is, like, how do we get around this as, like, fans? Is there a ticket app that isn't as bad with fees? Is there another way to just buy tickets that I'm not thinking of? Like, is there anything we, the people as fans, can do to, like, get them to stop this? I mean, probably not. But, I mean, I've never been fucked in the ass before, but it sure feels like I was. And I'd rather dirtballs not feel that same way when they buy their Saints tickets. But, anyways, thanks, guys. And condoms are for Taylor Swift. If she actually gave a fuck about her fans and people, you can tell the ticket site she's not going on tour of her fans and being charged $700 for a damn ticket. So, thanks.
Yeah, but she's the devil. This seems like it's going to be a plug, but it's not a plug. I went to the Strokes at Red Rocks on Monday. Epic, one of my all-time favorite bands at a bucket list venue. Awesome show. I went through all the sites to try and think. This is going to seem like a plug, but I promise it's not. SeatGeek has an option where you can just look at all the prices with fees. Now, I know this doesn't mean that there are no fees, but I think the biggest problem with these fees, besides the fact that they exist, and that's just something we have to get over because all these corporations like Ticketmaster or whatever are just going to ass rape you with fees, is that you go and you look for something, you've got a ballpark price in mind that you're willing to pay, then you find it, and then they hit you with the fees. So, yes, the fees still exist, but I prefer to use SeatGeek because I like to shop for tickets with all the prices included. And then I'm really know what I'm doing. And not like you go on some of those other sites, I'm not going to name names, but you go on some of the other sites and all of a sudden you'll be like, oh, it's $150 a ticket. And then they're like, it's $360 a ticket. You're like, what are you, how in the world do you do that? So I think if you can shop for prices with the fees, it's going to help. It's going to take a little bit of the sting out.
See, the problem is, like I was referring to the airlines, we all just accept it. I mean, you would literally need a massive boycott.
And that's and honestly, it's what airlines do now too. They love to like show you prices and you're like, "Oh, this airline like that ticket's cheap." And then they're like, "Oh, you want to bring a bag with you at all?" And it was like, oh yeah, I'm going to New Orleans for 4 days. I wasn't just going to wear the same clothes the whole time. They're like, oh, well, the one bag doubles it. And you're like, oh no, I'm just going to carry on. Yeah, actually carry on's more expensive on our airline. And you're like, well, what? This is stupid.
Yeah.
And that's why like all of them do it now. I mean, even the airlines I love, like I'm a JetBlue stan, but like when you first see JetBlue prices, it's Blue Basic. You don't have a guaranteed seat. You're like, the airlines will literally be like, oh, you want a seat? Oh, you want a seat? Oh, that's more expensive.
Yeah. No, man. I it's the notion that they started saying extra fees, not just from first class, anywhere in the airplane where you sit is such a scam, and it's such bullshit. And it's infuriating. It's the same way with concert tickets. Yeah, you're going to order tickets, or you're going to order tickets for a game. That's just a completely made up fee. It is. I'll just say, he's saying $25 each ticket processing. What does that even mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? Because if you go in person, there's none of that. If you show up to a stadium and you buy your tickets in person, there's no processing fee. It's a fucking scam. It's pretty infuriating. But again, you're stuck because nobody's going to do anything about it.
You know what's a good ticket deal? Podcast and a show, $30. Comedy House, New Orleans, December 16th. Podcast and a show.
Might even get a.
You know what the hidden fees are? $10 off. That's the hidden fee.
Yeah, might even get a voodoo priest there.
$20 off if you try to walk in and buy it day of. Andy just said you go to the stadium, no fees. You show up to the Comedy House, New Orleans, and you try to buy a ticket for both, $25 each, $50 total. You go on there right now, podcast and a show, $30. Boom.
It's a pretty good steal. So that's the goal. Are we trying to get like a clunk, like a chunk of seats as far as for the football game?
I think that would be fun. And you know what? I have friends who, I'm pretty, me, Andy, I'm pretty snobby about tickets.
Mm-hmm.
But I have friends and they have season tickets in the 500 and they're like, dude, it's so fun up there. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go.
Yeah. Just make sure nobody is there from USA Today for the win.
Yeah.
Because they'll write a scathing review about people having fun in a stadium, that it's not modern or up to date enough. Dorks.
If I could only take one bite out of every stadium, New Orleans is 27th on my list.
Do we have any other calls here? Because a few of them I'm going to save. Oh, here's a quick call. He's ranting. I assume he means NFL stadiums here.
Okay.
I got to load it first real quick. But I assume he means NFL stadiums. Because I think he just says stadiums, which I'm like, that's kind of confusing.
Hey, Dirty Sports. Listen to the last episode about talking college sports. I think arguably the worst thing that the NCAA does when it comes to these tournament games is playing the Final Four in football stadiums.
Oh, Final Four.
That makes no sense to me. It's miserable, and it is so weird. So I know what your guys' thoughts on that are. Condoms are for every MLB executive.
I guess I misheard that the first time. So he means specifically the Final Four. I was thinking Final Four of college football. Well, again, the reason
my shit cut out in the middle. I missed.
Yeah.
What happened?
So he said it's the worst thing that NCAA does, going back to kind of what we were bitching about with college sports last week, is putting Final Four games in big NFL stadiums.
Yeah.
They're just doing that to maximize revenue.
Yeah.
And be honest, that's nothing. In the past, they do that sometimes. Sometimes they wouldn't. Like even in the 80s, like you could pull up Final Four
in the Alamo Dome or whatever
in like Houston at the Astrodome. Yeah. So I mean, like they didn't always do that, but a lot of times that's really nothing new. I mean, the infamous Chris Webber in the early 90s, that's at the Superdome in New Orleans. I mean, atmosphere-wise, I get it, but they're just trying to maximize their money.
Yeah.
So, and look, they're not fun. I've been to NCAA tournament games in a dome, and I've been high up, and sorry, I'm having a flashback, dude. I'm just laughing to myself right now. We go to this game. We go to games. It was in St. Louis at that dome, and this is like my sophomore year of college, and we smuggle in all this booze too because they wouldn't sell booze there. And the guy in front of us had this gigantic thing of fries.
You were behind Madrid?
And he had a million ketchup packets, and he just kept ripping them up and putting them in, and he kept digging his fingers in, and he lifted his fingers. And this is a grown-ass man, like in his 50s, and they were just so full of ketchup, and it was going everywhere. And I just remember how disgusted me and my buddies were. And dude, I'm a 20-year-old kid who was also disgusting. My point is, if I'm repulsed by how you're eating, and we couldn't stop laughing, and he was by himself, talk about serial killer. So that was my one memory of a NCAA game in a dome. We kept calling him T-Rex because he was going in with his little hands. Okay, this makes no fucking sense. 310-359-8365. Give us a ring. Get those tickets to New Orleans.
Absolutely. Get your tickets to fly down. Get your tickets to the show. Like I said, it's pre-sale only, like early bird special only. We will eventually take down that 2-for-1 deal, 2-for-1.5 deal. So get your tickets to stand up in the show and the podcast. You can come see me in Colorado this week, tonight, Denver, tomorrow, and Saturday in Steamboat. You can come see me in LA for the next couple of weeks. I'll be back. Vegas, end of October, Alaska, November, New Orleans, December. Come see a show. JoePrano.com. I'm on all the social media at Joe Prano. We're on TikTok where I'm triggering basketball casuals at The Dirty Sports.
I'll have to check it out.
I'm still waiting for the first Andy Ruther rant on TikTok.
I know. I gotta learn it, man. I have to just literally sit down. I know it sounds stupid, and just kind of look at the app, Google how to do it, and then I'll do a rant. You have to teach me how to do the picture-in-picture thing.
Yeah, I can teach you the green screen.
All right, guys, that's our show. Have a great weekend. We'll see you guys on Monday. And as always, stay dirty.